Welcome to the Eric Avisar Show. Time now to talk about the Sweet 16 matchups taking place in this year's March Madness tournament. You know, we had some fantastic first and second round games, and now we have some chalky matchups to break down. The first game on Thursday night pits Gonzaga against Florida State. Now, I really think that this 7.5 point spread is way too high for what is essentially a toss-up coin flip game. You know, Gonzaga has terrific NBA level talent across the front court. Rui Hachimura is virtually a lock to go in the top 10. Brandon Clark could potentially play his way into the first round with the way he's been cleaning up off the glass and, you know, that incredible leaping ability. And, you know, this Gonzaga team beat Duke earlier in the season without stud Killian Tilly. With him back in the lineup, Gonzaga looks scarier than ever. You know, with guys like Kispert and Perkins, you know, getting buckets, not to mention Zach Norvell. This Zags team is loaded. It's the best team Mark Few has ever had. But the problem is Florida State matches up really well with them, and frankly, really well with anyone because of their incredible size. You know, they are definitely one of the scariest teams when you just look at the airplane test. But, you know, Mfiondu Kabengele is capable of shutting down pretty much anyone you put in front of him, and he's improved so impressively on the offensive end. You know, they have great guard play with guys like, you know, Terrence Mann and MJ Walker really getting it done. Chris Kumaje, is gonna, you know, present problems standing at 7'4" when he's getting minutes. So, you know, this, like I said, has all the makings of a classic game. I don't see either team winning it convincingly. So, yeah, take Florida State against the spread and take the Seminoles pretty confidently. Now, looking at Purdue taking on Tennessee, this could be the biggest pressure cooker matchup of the Sweet 16 between two coaches, you know, who are desperate to get to the Elite Eight. You know, Rick Barnes is trying to reach the Elite Eight for the first time since 2008 when he was at Texas. And to do so would mean that Purdue head coach Matt Painter loses in the Sweet 16 for the third consecutive year. So he will definitely not want that to happen. You know, looking at Purdue, Carson Edwards has quietly been, you know, a monster in this tournament, averaging 34 points a game. And, you know, he had 9 3-pointers against Villanova. So, you know, he is certainly peaking at the right time. But, you know, the thing is with Tennessee, they have really strong defenders who are capable of slowing him down. Guys like, you know, Lamont Turner, Jordan Bone, and Jordan Bowden. Purdue doesn't have anyone who's really going to slow down the likes of, you know, Admiral Schofield, assuming he doesn't get into foul trouble like last time. And, you know, Grant Williams could end up being the most outstanding player of the tournament if, you know, Tennessee can continue this run. He has really proven himself to have the clutch gene, you know, to have that ice water in his veins and knock down just massively important shots. So I'm taking the Vols to cover the 1.5 point favorite spread. So 1.5 points Tennessee, book them to go through. The second game in Anaheim is going to be an all-out grind, a defensive struggle between Michigan and Texas Tech. You know, both teams have held their opponents to shooting percentages in the mid-30s in the tournament thus far, with Texas Tech looking especially impressive. I mean, they shut down a really, really good Buffalo team in the round of 32. You know, Jarrett Culver seems like the closest thing to a lock to be a lottery pick at this point. You know, the sophomore's averaging over 22 points a game in the tournament thus far. You know, Davide Moretti averages over 45% from the 3-point line. So, you know, if Culver can really drive into the lane successfully, he's going to create open shots for Moretti. And, you know, Norense Odiase had 14 points and 15 rebounds against Buffalo. So look for him to potentially have another big performance, and watch out, of course, for Tariq Owens, who can really protect the rim well. For Michigan, Xavier Simpson plays terrific on-ball defense and could certainly disrupt Texas Tech's offense, especially when they're trying to begin their set plays. Iggy Brezdikas is the best player on Michigan, hands down. He's a jack of all trades, such a dynamic offensive player who's really embraced kind of the villain role, if you will. Sometimes he looks like he could play for Duke. But, I really like Brezdikas, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, very likely a one-and-doner himself. Jordan Poole and Charles Matthews are going to be under immense pressure to knock down shots. If the shots aren't falling for them, you really got to like Texas Tech in this game. The job that Chris Beard has done at Texas Tech's been just truly unbelievable, and I can't bet against the Red Raiders after what they did to Buffalo. So give me Texas Tech to win in this toss-up matchup. Now, looking at the final game of Thursday night, UVA is only an 8.5-point favorite against a vastly inferior Oregon team. I think bookies are too caught up in UVA's slow style of play to realize that the Cavaliers are probably going to win huge here. This game is in Louisville, Kentucky, major geographical advantage for the Hoos. And, the Ducks are anchored by an undersized point guard in Peyton Pritchard, who's having a great tournament so far. But I don't think Ty Jerome's going to have too much difficulty, just shutting him down defensively. I really think Jerome is going to give Pritchard fits. Guys like DeAndre Hunter and Kyle Guy, they're going to get their shots, and I expect them to knock them down. UVA is going to blow away Oregon with their outside shooting. And so I like the Cavaliers to cover as 8.5-point favorites there. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and please be sure to subscribe to my channel.